Hi folks, let me show you this little job where I transform this business card into a t-shirt transfer for a bag. Keep watching. Right, well, my daughter's got a hairdresser salon, as you probably know, and she's got a little function coming up this weekend where she wants some sort of merchandise done. So what I've said I'll do is, well, she gave me this, basically her business card, and she just said, see what you can do with that. Various colours on it. It's got different types of graphics, all curly and stuff like that. So for me to do all that in vinyl would be a bit of a nuisance job, because there's so many different layers there you'd have to create. So what I've decided to do is to actually create this, or copy this image rather, on a t-shirt transfer, as you've probably seen on one of my other previous videos where I used a t-shirt transfer on a bag with the dark t-shirt transfers. Well, this time I'm going to use a t-shirt transfer for light t-shirts and show you that these transfers also work well on other merchandise as well as t-shirts as well. So basically what I've actually done, I've taken the business card, as you can see, which is very small there, and I'm lucky enough over there to have a scanner. So all I've done is put the business card in the scanner so that I can scan the actual image into Photoshop. And all I've done there is opened up an A4 page in Photoshop as well as opening this image up in Photoshop, and basically dragged this image onto the A4 page, resized it to the A4 sheet of paper, and then because this is a small image and you expand it, what can tend to happen is that the colours can sort of get a little bit, not distorted, but a little bit sort of pixelated in places. So what I've done there to overcome that was go into the adjustments window in Photoshop and then look for the brightness and contrast, exactly the same as what I've done in the mug wrap video, and then raise the contrast up and play about with the brightness and contrast until you actually get rid of all that sort of pixelation on, and then you're left with solid colours. So once I've got that converted onto an A4 sheet in Photoshop, I then bring it into my Silhouette Cameo software, and let me just show you what I've got on screen here. And for those of you who have a Silhouette Cameo cutter, you would recognise this page at the time of me actually uploading this video. All I've done is bring the image onto, there's my 12x12 carrier sheet, which I've got there, and this is the A4 sheet of paper which is on the carrier sheet, and I've brought the image in, put it onto the A4 sheet, and rather than use the tools up here for sketching the outlines and whatever, because that would cut all the intricate letters out, didn't really want that. All I wanted to do, I don't know if you can see if I get close enough for you, there's the red line, a very fine red line going all the way around the image, and I've actually put that red line on there. As you can see, I've not gone around every single thing, just literally around the outside of the image. And that's all you need to really do with this white t-shirt paper, and even down to the letters and writing down here. Look, I've just literally block cut all the way around, and for that I've used what I call the bow tie tool. And if you hover the mouse over it there, you'll see the tool is actually called draw a polygon tool. So that's the one I've used, and I've literally just dropped the image around the outside, the cut lines. I've reversed the image, as you can see it's in the reverse at the moment. And now I'm going to print that out on my printer by going up to here and clicking the print button. And here we go, as you well know, over to my Epsom 1500W printer with the bulk ink system fitted, as you know. And that's just sitting over the corner there. And I'm printing now on my transfer paper. This is for white t-shirts. And we'll just let this printer do its thing. Now, I've had some inquiries about people who ask what my printer is. As you can see there, it's an Epsom Stylus Photo 1500W. I have mentioned this in other videos as well. And I use a bulk ink system. And in that is the cheapest dye-based inks I can find. And I've been using them for 10 years. And I've never had any problems with them whatsoever. I've never had anything come back. I've got things that I've printed years and years ago, up to 6 years ago, and the images have still remained on the t-shirts. And if that's not good enough proof that these inks are good enough and they're the cheapest inks, because a lot of your money, if you're buying the actual Epsom inks or whatever inks that the printer you have, you're going to be spending a hell of a lot of money. But in this case, for this little business, you don't really need it. So I'm just printing this out now. As I said to you, it's on a white transfer paper. for white t-shirts normally, and it's been printed out in the reverse. Now as you can see there, I'll hold it up for you. There's the image, can you see that? There's the image there, it's in the reverse and it's just printed on the white transfer paper, and I've also got the registration marks around the outside so that when I put this into my cutter, the cutter will be able to find all the outlines I've put on and cut this image out. So let's go and do that now. I've already set the cut settings up. Right, so then we take our 12x12 cutter sheet and put it into the Cameo. Press enter. And that takes the cutter sheet in. We then go back to the software and click on the start icon. And what should happen now is it will read the registration marks, as you can see what it's doing there now. And then it will proceed to cut out that outline which we've put on there. As I say, with the white transfer paper, it's very forgiving on light coloured garments where you don't actually have to cut round every single letter. I'm just literally going around the outside of this now, as you can see. And that's that cut line I've already put on. So the cutter's now done its work. Let's just eject that. And take this over to our cutting table. Right, well here we are. Now this was the other bag I done, as you remember, with the dark t-shirt transfer. And the reason why we used the dark t-shirt transfer was because there's a lot of light or white in this, and this dark t-shirt transfer acts as a white transfer. This one here, as you know, we've got a background. This, when we cut this out, the background will be transparent, so we should see the colour of the bag come through, and you'll see that in a second. So all I basically do is, now that outline's cut out on that transfer paper, let's remove that. All I tend to do is to find the corner, just pick up the transfer paper, and all we'll do here is literally pull off the transfer paper, and it'll automatically go to the cut lines that we've already put on the transfer paper. Our transfer just on the backing paper, I don't know whether you can actually see that there, but we've just literally got the transfer paper on the backing paper. This is the actual transfer paper. This is the film that gets transferred to the garment, as you can see, and this will go transparent when it's heated up. So that's got rid of all the excess there. So as I said, this is one of these tote bags again, which I've pressed before. And we're just going to put this on the heat press now. It's up to temperature. So let's give this a pre-press to get all the moisture out. Again, there's my Teflon sheet on the bottom of the transfer sheet, on the bottom of the heat press. And it just means that I can just slide it on and off like that, which makes life a hell of a lot easier. And don't forget, if I was dealing with a dark transfer paper, it would tend to curl up. So you can pull the tray out and get it away from the heat source. So there we go. We're on there now. Let's just give that a little pre-press. Don't need to go mad with this, only about a 5 or 6 second blast, that's all you need. And as you can see, there's steam coming out of it, which indicates that there is moisture in the thing, and I can feel the water on there. So I'm just going to press the other side of it as well, just to make sure that the moisture is out. Again, these bags are only cheap. I think I paid 34p for these bags, so we sell them for £4.99 normally, so there is a good potential profit in there. Yes, and there's the moisture's gone out of there now. Right, so okay, so what I'm going to do now then is just position the bag on there where I want it. I'm going to get my transfer. Again, the temperature's set at 190 degrees for 30 seconds with these bags, and I'm just going to place that in the centre. Now, if you wanted to tape that down, you could do. I've got the heat tape there. If you're worried about it moving, look, I'll just put a bit on there if you want to see me do that. So again, nothing has to be too critical here. It's only a tote bag, but you can hold it down with that if you want. So I'm also going to place over the top of it a cover sheet, and I'm going to push the seam of the bag, because that's got the handles on it, just over the edge so that it's not sitting on the heat plate as well. So there we go, I'm happy with that. So let's clamp it down, and let's count down for 30 seconds. Now again, as I said to you, this is a white transfer paper on a sort of an OT coloured canvas bag, these are. So it might give you a sort of either a distressed look or sort of a retro look if you're looking for that sort of thing. So there we go. I'm just going to take that out of there now. And just literally pull the transfer paper off, the covering, and I think you'll find, let's put that over here, this is the bag, and I'm sure you can agree that that image there is an absolutely lovely image on that little tote bag there. And I think you'll find that, as you say, you can't actually see the white transfer paper where I didn't cut round the images. And in some ways, if you're looking for that sort of distressed look or that sort of retro look, this can be a great thing to do with the white transfer papers and the finish there. Let me get the dark transfer paper and just show you the difference in that. When you're using the dark transfer papers, the actual image is sort of a lot stiffer. Can you see the sort of, can you hear that as I'm folding it? So that's if you need a full colour with a lot of white in an image. You can use them transfers, that's the dark t-shirt transfers. And if you're using the white t-shirt transfers, on the bag, don't forget the background colour will come through. As you can see, I'm sure you can see these ones are a lot more softer and they give an absolutely lovely finish for these little tote bags. And that just come from a business card. And as you see, all we done there, we increased the size of the image of this little business card here by scanning it. I've got a little scanner, and they're only cheap, so you can get a scanner as well. And all we've done there is increase it in Photoshop. The colours didn't come out. There was some sort of blotchy bits on the colour, so all I've done, I went into the adjustments window and raised the contrast a few times to make the colours more solid, and then put it into our Cameo software and drew an outline around the whole thing without actually cutting out all this intricate stuff. Didn't bother with doing all that, and we cut it out and we've pressed that onto our little tote bag, and I'm sure you'll agree that that's come out absolutely lovely. So there you go, that's how you convert a business card into a little promotional bag when you don't have the artwork. If we didn't have this artwork, as I say, this come from a generic card company, I would presume, and we didn't own the artwork. All we had to work with was this little business card, and that's the sort of thing you can do, and you could even put that image on a t-shirt as well. So there's many ways that you can get someone's individual images and use them for merchandising. And as I said, these cost us about 34p each. We would sell these for £4.99. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that little t-shirt transfer video. It's not a t-shirt video, obviously, but we use the same principles with the t-shirt transfers on t-shirts. We've just applied it to this, and this is the one for the light colour t-shirts. So there you go. Thanks very much. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye for now.